Today's episode is sponsored by Ian's Display Accessories, the best figure stands for vintage and modern action figures, as well as our friends at TGC Customs. Included is a 6-inch scale of iconic weapons and accessories. Shipping nationwide. Hello and welcome to an exciting episode of Codename New 202. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shibu Argue. Well, this episode is piggybacking off of what is an eventful past few days over at Hasbro. But the primary reason of this episode in particular, since I've covered everyone's favorite femme fatale, the Baroness, for a lot of episodes, looking at her statues, her action figures, talking about her IDW comic book appearances, why not take this opportunity to give a comprehensive look at the very in demand but sold out on HasbroPulse retro carded classified action figure for the Baroness. Now, this has been sold out everywhere, whether it be on Wal-Mart.com or even on HasbroPulse, but it's starting to matriculate down here in Florida. Few and far between, but still able to pick this up like everybody should, going to a store and finding it on the shelves. Ironically, this dropped, and if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, this came as soon as Hurricane Ian hit us down here in Florida. So it was an accident. I went to buy some hurricane supplies. What the hell? I walked down the aisle, and sure enough, the lady had these, taking them out of the box, literally, and stocking the shelves. While everybody's buying water, paper towels, God knows what, when you prepare for a hurricane, I picked up the Baroness. And there's a reason for that. It's because it was my birthday this past weekend. And just to highlight, not only did the Baroness come home with me, but I also got the Lady J, and I finally caved in and bought one of these Super 7 reaction figures, and this one is CoverGirl, so I'm one and done like I am with these Funko Pop crap, you know. I only bought one and I'm done. Just to say that I got it, because I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Now, the point of this is that there's been a lot of, if you've been following me, I've been echoing something that has been disturbing. I'm not one of those woke type of people, whatever. I know I don't really get it, but there is a need to address this, and I hope the fan base can get behind me. There's a lack of reaching out and including minorities by the official GI Joe team. I've mentioned it on several episodes that they had, and during the 40th anniversary, every white GI Joe content creator were acknowledged. Since I'm one of the few, if not the only one minority content creator, I was ignored. Now, the issue isn't getting free shit. It's just the fact that they should be acknowledging the minority fan base with, you know, when you look at the live streams, all white, you know, talking, all white. There's no inclusion except for 2 blurbs during African American Month. They had Doc and Stalker. That's it. Yes, they have offered Gung Ho, Stalker as action, and Roadblock. Roadblock, 2 versions of Roadblock, a Stalker. That's about it with minority action figures. For a line that is one of the core values is diversity. So they have nobody of color on their live streams. They're not acknowledging anybody of color during the 40th anniversary. And you would think that, you know, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody or whatever, because I'm not. But I don't really talk about stuff like this. But the fact of the matter is, someone whose family and myself have worked for and given so much as far as their service, not acknowledging that also. I even got a response. They would respond to me about everything else, but now this thing, it's like crickets in the background. And like, it's like, dear sir and madam. These are what my messages are. Dear sir and madam, this is my credentials. I was wondering if we could work together to maybe appeal because I think it'd be advantageous for the brand, not only now, but for future generations. And I gave the example of Miss Marvel. And G.I. Joe does have the blueprint. I mean, Larry Hama has included a person that with a disability, a first Muslim G.I. Joe. And it's good to portray these positive images because America isn't just one thing. And that's what makes America the most amazing country that it is, including everybody, that no matter what your faith, background, color, and I've seen it when you're out there, serving the country out there on patrol, you don't care what color they are. You care if they got your back and that you're willing to die for that person. That's what that flag means. That you're willing to lay down your life to protect your brother. And I don't think that this modern official G.I. Joe group fully grasp that concept. It's just like it's appealing to one demographic. So that's my stance. All right. The next thing is that there's been massive layoffs. And I know guys like Retro Blasting and other people have been talking about it. And that's sad. To expect this company to be different from any other corporation is absurd. The the line is dollars, shareholders, and all that other bullshit. And the only way, either you buy it or you don't buy it. You're not going to change the system. You're not going to whatever. That's just the way shit is nowadays. Whether it be paying for your cable bill or, buying a microwave. We've seen this with, all over the place. And a toy company is a company. It's no different. I feel bad for the people that are getting laid off because that's what's happening today. Hasbro has a massive layoffs. And there's going to be some people going into that's what I'm thinking. People getting ready going into the holidays. It's going to be a sucky ass Christmas for some people just because the CEO is trimming the fat, maximizing dollars and stuff like that. I've been on the end of that. I know a lot of you have been on the other end of that. It sucks ass. So I feel for the people that are losing their job over at Hasbro. But to think that they're going to be suddenly caring about their employees and stuff like that, that's not going to happen. So, you could scream, bitch, and this is not directed at anybody. This is just, as an analyst, an auditor, it's just policy and procedures. That's all I did is review policy and procedures. Is this in line? Is this in line? And the only reason is they don't really care. They just want to make sure they don't get in trouble. That's it. So that's is this going to cost us money? Or is this going to radically radically alter our net profit? But the good thing is I worked for the government, so it's entirely different than private corporations. But at the same time, I had to, I did do some auditing for private companies. This is a totally different animal. But alas, I just wanted to get that shit out of there. If you want to help me, please send a message to Hasbro, their Twitter, their Instagram, asking for diversity, more options, and to appeal to younger demographic. And if you want to include, hey, why don't you include codename NewTV02 along with all the other G.I. Joe content creators. If you don't want to do that, that's fine too. Just as long as you get the message that because I know there's a colored kid out there that's like, hey, that's a superhero you could be, dude. You could do good. You could contribute to your community. You don't need it to do it, but at the same time, it's cool. You have no idea, the impact that Miss Marvel had that I saw firsthand, and the news of Mongoose from G.I. Joe being introduced into that's someone you could identify with. I cried when I read that panel showing that Mongoose became a G.I. Joe, going to, a religious function called Arba'in, and seeing all the hate things on his mosque. And him, I want to serve to show that we're good guys and those people are bad. That's the whole point, that we are all good guys and we're fighting something that's bad. This is something that is bad, not acknowledging diversity, not appealing to a percentage. of the fan base, and that's universal. I'm talking about Asian Americans, African Americans, any color under the sun is something that we would want to include, because that's America. Whether if you have a family member that you're going to ship off into the service, do you care who has your son or daughter's back? No, you don't care what the color or faith they are. You want to know that they're protecting your son and daughter. Those people value their life just as much as their own. That's the America that I stand and fight for. That all people are equal, created equal, and good will always overcome evil. Evil doesn't have a form, it doesn't have a faith, it doesn't have a color. Evil is evil. That's it. All right, so I want to get this serious shit out of the way. Also, the news of suddenly, without nowhere, today, this is Thursday, October 4th, retro cardbacks for version 1 of Snake Eyes and Classifieds and Crimson Guard. The Crimson Guard to me looks a little bit different. I got the Hasbro, the regular classified, and I was lucky enough to get the, before out of stock, I was also able to get this retro card back. I'm kind of sick of Snake Eyes, even though I love him, and I'm going to let out a secret now that I've been deactivated and no longer. But my code name while I was working with the FBI was actually Snake Eyes. So now, I could say that because I'm out, I'm no longer used or utilized by them. So for fun, that was my code name. I was actually known as Snake Eyes. And when I had to report, I had to say Snake Eyes. It was funny. But that's a little bit of tidbit for my backstory. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the retro cardback classified Baroness and compare it to the Target Cobra Island one. I don't expect too much, but the weaponry was definitely a disappointment, and I'll talk about it later, where you could amend that by using TGC Customs. And again, I'm using Ian's display accessories for the figure stands. So without further ado, let's dive in. I apologize, I'm kind of fitting this, but this is another key point I wanted to address. Now, one of the announcements that they made was for a female Cobra Trooper, and that was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed action figure, female trooper. Now, that is so discouraging. And this, I'm happy that's being made, but why not give more offerings to reflect what a true military looks like, and the fact that we have different shades, different colors serving. And case in point, they did a phenomenal job with the G.I. Joe Club with this. And even though I'm more of a modern, vintage person, I actually collected modern figures, and this is what I focused in on. It was the female troopers. Look at this. This what makes the female Cobra Troopers so interesting and amazing. The fact that you have different hair colors, different skin colors. It was truly a home run. And I think this type of venture is what this modern G.I. Joe team and Hasbro is missing the ball. Look at that. These are the Night Stalkers and the Cobra Troopers, the regular old Cobra Troopers. We have blondes, brunettes, redheads, someone with more of a Latino or brown skin, and then an African American Night Stalker. This is freaking amazing, and this is why I love G.I. Joe, and the fact that some little girl can identify with this. I'm not saying join a group like this, but the fact is there's offerings like this available. And with this female Cobra Trooper, they're totally missing it with just offering this. That'd be great if you were Hitler or, but people come in all different colors. And yeah, give us a female trooper, but also give us one with different skin. The same thing with the men. They're all Caucasian. That's what makes army building should be fun, if that's your intention. So again, just to drive my point home, I thought that this would be a better illustration. All right, so when it comes to the Baroness, I'm proud to say I have a pretty good collection of just this one character, whether it be her comics, her IDW, her Marvel covers, as well as various different cardbacks that I have of the Baroness. Also, I have put up in the corner a official Deke cell that the animators had to use. Whenever they draw, they would use this as a template of the Baroness to make sure that however they depicted her in any episode, that she matches up accordingly to that sheet. So anyway, this is just, since I have all these out, usually these are displayed in the retro room. The Baroness is enjoyed not only by me, but my wife too. My wife likes the Baroness. So it's cool that we could share that appreciation for this particular character. And again, we're going to be looking at the Wal-Mart exclusive, but was featured on HasbroPulse retro cardback of the Baroness. And we're going to look at the cardback itself, which I think is really nice. It's a modern update of this, but it's just nice to see how, you know, basically here is the other retro line that is no longer with us. So it's, you could see her hair is a little bit different, where on this one, her stupid Fun School Pop, you see there's a difference between the hair. You know, there's no poof at the end of it, but her gun is a little bit different because it's trying to match up with this piece of shit that they put included with it. And then here's the 25th anniversary Baroness, which is paying homage to issue number 1, her appearance in that, where she's wearing the blue outfit. And I actually like this figure. I didn't at first, but now I've grown to appreciate it because it is different and it is for what it is. I've always liked that, and that means something to me. Now, if you see my episode, you know, when we looked at the retro 3 3/4 inch one, and then the original social class 2-pack she was included with Lady J. So I have both figures, and check out that episode for that. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a look at the Baroness. And just for those who are always interested, in the background is the Dreamcast version of Marvel vs. Capcom, the first one. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to free the Baroness from her confines. I know these men on card people might be shrieking, but you know what? You only live once, and I try to open as much as I can. So here we go. We got the old Craftsman lock blade out, and let's get cutting. Alrighty, so now that we got her free from her cardback, let's take, even though I did a little bit of a glimpse of it, but let's take a look at the cardback itself, comparing it to other versions. I'll have the original 1984 on the side over here just to look at it. But like I said, I actually really like this. I think this is an excellent job of updating a iconic classic cardback with just the right amount of modern touches. The only thing I don't like is this piece of shit gun that is sadly included with the action figure. But then again, you know, it's no sense of crying over something so insignificant. And the back of the card, again, it's just kind of keeping up with this crappy cardback, which is just a little bit of bullshit. No meat on it. It's just basically chicken wing that's already been eaten. So it's just that's it, just bones. So it's basically the same. And I like her secondary specialty of fixed wing pilot. I mean, we talked about that in, I think, what was it? There was a one issue where she was fought. It was a continuation of after, I think 54 it was, where Ace and Wild Weasel have a face-off. And so we never knew what happened after they kind of saluted themselves and went their separate ways. That was an excellent issue because we saw the Baroness as the co-pilot sitting in the back. And, you know, I mean, she's a really good pilot. We all know that. Again, here's the other 4-cell characters. We know that's going to be Gung Ho, and that's Destro. I passed on those offerings. I may get the Gung Ho one because the first wave was shit, and it looked like Chuck Liddell. And see my episode about that. And of course, every single language, the Arabic is there, and you got some Spanish, French. So basically, this is an international figure, and I think that's good. That, like I said, more diversity, man. That's where the world is, and that's what brings people together. So anyway, and I initially hated this one, but I've grown to like it. I think it's a wonderful, just a little quirks in my collection. And just to show people, this is the Deke animated cell that I have hung up. So that's the final master cell for the animators to base the Baroness on. Anyway, let's get back to this. And of course, this is Jamie Tinsdale's drawing. I know you guys seen it in my videos, but Jamie actually signed this for me. So there's his signature there. And if you don't know who Jamie Tinsdale is, he's one of the modern artists that I really like. Excellent, nice guy. And of course, the John Royal, one of the many John Royal graded covers I have of the Baroness. And again, that is cool. And of course, the iconic, I love this issue 75 of Serpentor taking her as his prized conquest. So we talked about that as well. So I even think I have the stupid, here's a Funko Pop one. I think we did a video about this. I know, one and done, guys, one and done. All right, so let's get back into looking at the Baroness. Alrighty, so now we're going to take a look at the accessory that's included with this Baroness. Again, I mentioned the two laser rifles, one long range, and I guess this is a medium range laser, whatever the fuck you want to call that. And this is what the most intriguing thing of these retro cardbacks is, an actual figure stand. So I like that added dimension. And her two pistols, remember in the right off the bat, the Target Island, Cobra Island one, they're gold. And of course her iconic eyeglasses. So we're going to take a look, compare it to the Cobra Island one, and take it from there. Alrighty, so here we have both of them side by side next to each other, and right off the bat, there are a few noticeable differences, but 95% is just a reissue. Let's be honest about that. But I don't see her. You could see the knife there. I don't think she has that on this one. So there is a difference right there. There's no inclusion of that Cobra head dagger. The belt buckle, you see there's a red on the Cobra Island where she does not have that on this one. As well as the red on her, I guess the forearm shield. That's also not on this one. Alrighty, so the next thing we're going to do the lateral. So this is going to be I'm going to give you a radiology term. So this is going to be your right lateral position. And again, people have commented, where can I get that gun? And again, TGC Customs, who we talked about during Cobra Convergence, is a sponsor of this channel. If you're looking to ditch these hideous things, these Nerf guns, for more of an accurate representation, this is the way to go. And I paired the Snake Eyes Origins with that gun as well. It's just one of those small little subtle differences that just makes it pop. And you can see there's her version 1 with that iconic. So you can see that that's a very cheap upgrade that just makes the world of difference for this wonderful figure. But yeah, there are noticeable differences, and you would think that they would do that because this is Hasbro. So also, I think the mesh that's in here, maybe it's because of the way the light is hitting it, but it seems like that's a little bit lighter than the retro cardback figure to the right of it. So if you can see right there. You see that? Just maybe a tad bit lighter shade. But all in all, it's just a good, oh, and of course we gotta check this side out, you know. Hey, I'm a guy, you know. So her posterior. Pretty much the same. Again, the gun where you have the gold ones, and this offering is basically the straight up black ones. So let's finish putting her together. Okay, so now I've paired her with her version 1 6-inch gun, and again, it looks really nice, but you could tell the Cobra Island one is a far superior. Just those little paint applications just makes a world of difference. And of course, you could do that yourself. I mean, just get one of these fine paint brushes and just, you know, you could do it yourself if you're so inclined to. The one thing, I don't even think so the Cobra symbol is on her forearm protection, so, but not as prominent as but of course the home run here is the figure stands. These fit amazing. I mean, I rave about Ian's display. I'm going to be honest with you. Of course, the manufacturer's ones is perfect. Ian's, you have to kind of like finesse it a little bit, and once it's in, it's in. And sometimes, like, you know, I'll use a little bit of poster tack. I'm going to be honest with you. For some figures, I do have to use poster tack just because they're either top heavy or not. I don't mean that type of way, you know, top heavy, like not this. But anyway, sometimes like from the Star Wars Legends, Star Wars Black Series, because this is supposed to take care of all the Hasbro 6-inch line, and it works amazing. But I have to be honest with you, the Hasbro ones are a better. They're a little bit better. They fit wonderfully on these. It's just like they're made for them, obviously. So I hope they actually release, because this looks badass, you know. I'm gonna have to switch the stands, like give like the Cobra Island one that stand. But yeah, all in all, I think this is a great offering. In Florida, just check your Wal-Marts. I think how Hasbro releases it is by regions. So, you know, you'll get your Northeast, LA will get their shit first, and then it'll start matriculating across the country, and Florida will always be last. So we're always last to get ours. But I highly recommend this figure. I think it's a great for any Baroness fan. My wife likes it, so that's another plus. She likes it a lot. And of course, it's just, she's just one of the, I'm just glad I could enjoy something with my wife. That's what makes it fun, you know. And I know I put a lot of doom and gloom in the beginning of the video, but those are issues that we all need to address as a community. The whole objective is that kids, people can identify with these characters and contribute to society in a positive way. All of this lines and divisions that's going on across the country is bullshit. And we need the people that don't feel that way, that feel that everybody is equal, everybody is entitled, everyone should, you know, contribute in some way, in a positive way to society. I hope I get your support in this. It's such a small thing, and I don't, you know me guys, I don't say shit about anything. I'm not political, whatever, but I know bullshit when I see it, and I'll call it out. And it's bullshit that they're appealing to one demographic and totally like bullshitting and not addressing all the other demographics that grew up with this line. I mean, that's what's cool about being a part of this community, is that you guys, we all have similar stories growing up, you know, with these toys. Every one of us, we did the same fucking thing, you know. So there's not much difference, you know. And the people that, you know, think that they're superior and that, you know, or what have you, fuck them. You know, nobody's superior. Every one of us has to get up, go to work, pay the bills, come home, take care of the house. That's it. So I hope you guys join me on this. And it's just not for me, it's for future generations, because I want kids to know how much good this line is, and that is worth. I don't want G.I. Joe to be buried with us Gen Xers. I want it to endure. And characters like Mongoose, Sherlock, Larry Hama has laid out the blueprint for the future of G.I. Joe. It's up to us to, push this corporation to do the things that we need them to do. I mean, the bottom line is, if we don't get up, yell, scream, they're not going to do shit. And, as much as I respect retro blasting so much, but at the same time, it is what it is, You gotta, use your dollars and kind of, that's your vote, is basically with these core. You gotta hit them where it hurts. But I just hope you guys join me on this to get recognized by the corporation, to be included, because that's bullshit that they acknowledged all white G.I. Joe content creators, but not one. They sent one Asian cosplayer who's not even a G.I. Joe fan and was like, oh, gee, thanks, I'm going to give it to my brother. She just posted one Instagram picture with the 40th anniversary box. Said, thanks for this free stuff. She's not a fan. But I guess that is their minority quota, and that's bullshit. Alrighty. So my final thoughts is, this is a wonderful offering. I'm actually delighted to get that. I got the Crimson Guard retro as well as the Hasbro Pulse. I noticed that the face guard, maybe it's just me, but the retro one seems silver, while the Hasbro Pulse one, the regular classified, is black. It looks like that from the pictures, so it's going to be interesting to see in the summer when it comes out. But I think this is a great opportunity. If you guys don't want to spend, I think they're sold out, or maybe there's still some of the Cobra Islands left. But if you're going to get one, I would get this one. But at the same time, the extra, what is it, $20 or $25 for the paint applications, the gold gun and the knife, I don't know. I mean, it's not worth it. But definitely be vigilant. Use the app. That's how I find stuff. There's 4 or 5 Wal-Marts here in Central Florida that I hit all the time, and I log into their respective stores to see if any of this stuff pops, and be very vague and then very specific in your searches when you use those, like the Target app or the Walmart app. That's another good tool to use to help land the figures, and making sure they're in stock. Is be vigilant on that. And the last thing is, one thing about this game, it still holds up. The Capcom Marvel game on Dreamcast, it is phenomenal. I have the PlayStation 1 version of this game, and I like the controls on that one better than the Dreamcast, but that's just a side note. We'll do a late night episode featuring this game, so stay tuned for that. We're going to recap issue number 296 coming up, because we're coming to the end of the IDW run. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and please, please, please go to Twitter, Hasbro, G.I. Joe specifically, their Instagram. Voice that you would like to see them include more diversity for a line that celebrates diversity. It's not going to benefit us, but also our kids. I think, like I said, I gave you that example. If you have a son or daughter and you send them overseas to fight for this country, do you care who is in the trenches with them? The only thing you should care about is that they like that flag, and they're going to defend everything in that flag. And that's why diversity is important. And the people that, I'm not trying to be political, but the people that, marched on January 6th and did all that stuff, they're about the Confederate States, not the United States. Anyway, I leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of Codename. This is Shabu Are You, signing off.